Hi, you guys, welcome back to my channel. And today we will be talking about Toy Story 2. Now, the way Toy Story 2 starts out is with Buzz Lightyear. And he is going and and he and and he and he and he and he and he then Zurg's lair trying to defeat him, and he starts throwing stuff at Zurg, but Zurg shoots him in the face and he ends up disappearing and being disintegrated. But it turned out that it's just the Buzz Lightyear game that Rex and him are playing. And Rex says, I'll never be able to defeat Zurg. And then and then Buzz says, "Well, sure you will. Well, sure you will, Rex. In fact, you are a better Buzz than I am." And then Buzz looked at Woody, and Woody is trying to find his hat for cowboy camp because him and Andy are going to cowboy camp together. So Woody ends up falling down, but it's okay, cause Bugs, because, 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 Bug, cause Buzz has got him, and then he helps him up, and, and he, and, and, and he asks Woody if he's okay, and Woody says, "Yeah, Buzz, I'm fine." Okay, here's a list to do of things to do while I'm gone. Batteries needs to be changed. Toys at the bottom of the chest need to be rotated. Oh, and make sure everyone attends the lesson of what to do when a part of you is swallowed. Okay? Good. Okay. And then Buzz realizes that Woody haven't found his hat, and that Andy will be leaving for cowboy camp at any minute. And he is very excited about this. He and he and he has been looking forward to this trip all year. But all the toys are helping him look, which are so cool because the Army boys are back from the first movie. They are back and they are better than ever because 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 but because Buzz asks, "Has anybody found Woody's hat yet?" And then and 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 and, and then the leader says, "Negatory, still searching. Come on, man, dig deeper." And then everybody gives their report. And then Bo says, Woody's girlfriend Bo says, "It's not in Molly's room. We looked everywhere." And then Bo tells Woody to look under his boot. And then and, the, and then Woody says, "Don't be silly. My hat is not under my boot." And then Bo says, "Will you just look?" And 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 the, and when and then Woody looks, and then this and 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 then Woody says, "See, no hat, just the word Andy." And then Bill says, "Uh-huh." And the boy who wrote that will take you to cowboy camp with or without your hat. And then Woody apologizes and says, "I'm sorry, Bill. It's just I've been looking forward to this trip all year because it's just the one time with me and Andy." And then And then Bo Peep takes her cane and she grabs Woody and she starts to lean in for a kiss, but then she is interrupted by Rex because her sheep are trying to tear his arm off. But but Miss Peach but but Miss Peep But Miss Peep whistled and then they stopped. And then Andy. Wait. And then Andy's dog comes and looks for Woody. And then he finds Woody. And then Andy's mom asks, "Andy, have you got all your stuff?" And then Andy says, "It's in my room." And then Andy's mom says, "Andy, come on, 5 minutes and we're leaving." And then so Andy uses those 5 minutes to play with Woody and Buzz. But he rips Woody's arm, and then the mom says, "Well, maybe we can fix him on the way." And then Andy says, "No, just leave him." And And then they walk out of the room, getting ready to go to cowboy camp without Woody. And then Woody had the dream that Andy comes back from cowboy camp, starts playing with Woody, and forgets he's broken for half a second. Then when he realizes, he throws Woody away, and then Woody tries to get back to Andy, but the broken toys within the trash can are pulling Woody down because they created a hand, and 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 then and then they ended up pulling Woody down because they created a hand to pull to 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 actually pull Woody down from the trash can. To actually pull Woody down in the trash can. But he wakes up because it was all a dream, and then he hits the bookshelf that hit his old friend Wheezy that was supposed to be fixed months ago, but he was never fixed. And we find out that Andy's mom is having a yard sale. So, 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 so what he says, so, so happy, so, so, so what he says, "Everybody get ready, there's the yard sale outside." And then, and, and then, and then Buzz, and, and, and then, and 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 then Buzz counts all the toys and everybody is there. And then when Andy Mom comes, Wheezy actually gets taken. So Woody goes to save Wheezy, but then he gets knocked off of the dog, and Wheezy ends up making it. Wheezy ends up making it inside, but not Woody. And then he gets kidnapped by this man, and I don't understand why the mom didn't take 5 seconds out of the garage sale to put Woody back into Andy's room for 5 minutes. Because then he gets stolen and then taken to the shop where he meets the Roundup gang, where he meets Jesse, Bullseye, and the Prospector. And he is a rare Sheriff Woody doll, and that is his Roundup gang. And he used to be this very popular show back in the day. And he used to have all this merchandise. So him and Bullseye and Jesse start getting along great, and they get along great with Bullseye too. Bullseye the horse. Until he finds out that he's being sold to a museum in Tokyo in Japan. And then he says, no, I can't go to Japan. I have got to get home to my owner, Andy. See? So he shows him the boot with Andy's name on it. And this is when we find out that Jesse and Prospector can't get sold without him because he's the most popular of the Roundup gang that they have. So if he doesn't say they're getting sold to Japan, and no. I'm sorry, you guys. So if Woody doesn't say, they will go back into storage forever and never get sold to Japan, and children will never play with them. But Woody stands his ground. He says, I'm sorry, but I cannot go with you. So the next day, the TV turns on in the middle of the night. And Woody thinks it's Jesse. But who it is, just wait and see until we get to the end of this video, and you are going to be shocked. So they get in a big fight. Prospector pretends to fall, and then they help him up. And then Woody says, if I had both my arms, because his arm was ripped, and now it came completely off, so it won't be fixed. So it won't be fixed until the cleaner who props all the toys, props them, cleans them, make them look all nice for selling, comes tomorrow morning and fixes his arm. And then he says, when that happens, I'm out of here. And then he and then he actually makes my friend Bullseye cry. And he tried to get his arm himself with Bullseye's help. But then the TV starts coming on. By itself. And the guy wakes up. And then he turns off the TV. And then he finds Woody. And he just thinks the case just opened on its own. And he called it a cheap case. And that is the end of it. And so the cleaner comes and fixes and he actually does a good job with cleaning Woody up and fixing his arm. But then before he can go, Prospector says, "Why not make amends with Jesse before you leave?" And then Woody says, "Okay, but I don't know what good it'll do." So we find out that Jesse used to have an owner named Emily. And they were best friends until she sold her because she was getting older. So she sold her to a donation store. And that is the last time she saw her owner, Emily. So, before Woody leaves, Prospector tells him, "How long do you think it'll last? Do you think Andy's gonna take you to college or on his honeymoon? Andy's growing up and there's nothing you can do about it. You can go back home to Andy and last for a little while. Or you could come with us and last forever. And be loved by children for generations." And so, with that logic, Woody ends up staying. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys. Buzz, Mr. Potato Head, Slinky, Buzz, Miss Potato Head, Buzz and Mr. Potato Head and Slinky go to save Woody from the Chicken Man, from the commercial that is going to sell them in Tokyo. And I also forgot to mention, when they found Al's toy barn, they got lost in a car, in a toy car, and they got lost in a toy car because everybody, everybody went searching for Woody. And Buzz meets another hen who thinks that he's the real Buzz Lightyear, but he's not. He doesn't know that he's a toy, like Buzz is. So, mistaking this for Buzz, they go with the other Buzz to rescue Woody. And then the real Buzz ends up following them, but then the other Buzz doesn't end up staying because he thinks Serg is his father. So So they did a Star Wars reference, but I don't know anything about Star Wars. So moving on. Once they find out who the real Buzz is, everybody is joyful, and they find Woody, and then Woody says that he wants to say because he's a rare Sheriff Woody doll, and without them, they wait, that he is a rare Sheriff Woody doll, and without him, Jesse and Bullseye and the Prospector will go back into storage. So he tells Buzz that he wants to stay. But Buzz tells him that but Buzz tells him that some somewhere somewhere in that white puffy stuffing the toy who told me that life is only worth living if you're loved by a kid. And I traveled all this way to rescue that toy because I bleached him. And then and then and then and then and 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 and, and then Woody says, well, you wasted your time. And then Buzz says, let's go, everyone. And then when Woody hears his song, You Have a Friend in Me, he changes his mind, and then and 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 then and and, and, and then and then he tells his Buzz, wait a second, I'm coming with you. And then he says, wait just a second. And then he tells Jesse that Andy had the little sister, so now she is off to Andy's house as well with Bullseye, and they are about to and, they are about to ask Prospector if he wants to come. It if he wants to come with them, but Prospector is, guess what, out of the box, and he turned on the TV last night, not Jesse. And then and then and then Jesse said, and then the Prospector says, I tried reasoning with you, Woody, but you just keep making me take extreme measures. And we have an eternity to spend in the museum, and let's not waste it pointing fingers, shall we? And then Jesse says, Prospector, this isn't fair. And then Prospector says, fair? I'll tell you what's not fair. Waiting on a dime shelf, watching every other toy be sold. Well, finally, my waiting has paid off, and I am not going to let some handy down cowboy doll mess it up for me now. And the Prospector has also locked Buzz out, and the rest of his friends, and they don't know what to do because they're stuck, but they do find their way, but they do find their way onto the elevator. The other Buzz ends up going with Zurg as his son, and Jet. And Jesse and Woody ends up flying, and they actually end up flying on. They actually end up flying on Bullseye, and they all end up going home. But what happened to but actually, well, what happened to Stinky Pete, you might ask? He got into a girl's backpack, and the Barbie said when he got in, the Barbie said, "You're gonna love Amy, she's an artist." And then he ends up crying. Because my boy Prospector said that Woody and all his friends will be ruined, forgotten, spending eternity in a landfill. And then at the end, Andy comes home and sees his brand new toys, not questioning anything. I got a few questions. Like, how did they get here? I did not purchase them. Like, that would be my first question. And anyway, Jesse, Jesse and Buzz ends up dating. Oh, and do you know what the perfect line to this movie is? At the end of the movie, Woody is staring out the window and saying, Woody, and at the end of the movie, Woody is staring out the window, and Buzz asks, "Are you worried?" And Woody says no, because when it's all over, I will have my good friend Buzz to keep me company for infinity and beyond. And actually, what happened to Wheezy, you may ask? Well, he got a new squeaker, and he sung the theme song of "You Got a Friend in Me" with some backup Barbies, and that song is a hit. I don't care what nobody says. You Got a Friend in Me at the end of Toy Story 2 is a hit. Especially when the toys do it. And that is the end of Toy Story 2.